What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com. And today's going to be a little bit of a different kind of video. I was planning on probably making a video about Chris Jones or something like that today. Just a fun little video talking about something Chiefs related, something that's been on my mind. But then, last night happened with the whole Damar Hamlin situation and the Buffalo Bills Cincinnati Bengals game. And I just felt it was appropriate for me to talk about that before anything else, because I felt like if I made a video talking about anything else, I would be avoiding talking about the elephant in the room, which is what happened to Damar Hamlin last night. Like, I can't just go on without talking about it. It would be wrong of me to do that. And I have a lot of thoughts about it and a lot of things to say, and I wanted to address a lot of the things that came from last night and that whole situation. So, that's what we're going to do in this video. I'll start off with this. What happened last night was absolutely terrible. You never want to see that. That's something that we haven't really seen happen on an NFL field. There have been some situations kind of similar to that. I think about Jay Bouwmeester, the player for the St. Louis Blues that collapsed on the bench, a couple years ago, and that game got postponed. Or Keontae Johnson, the former Florida Gators basketball player that collapsed down on the court right in the middle of a game against Florida State. That game went on to get completed, though. Now, the Damar Hamlin situation is a little bit different than the Keontae Johnson one because, Damar Hamlin had to be resuscitated and he was essentially dead for a couple minutes, So, that's a really scary thing. But given that the NFL is the most popular sport in this country, and it does so well on TV, more people saw that than those other two examples. And this one was a little bit different because this was what you would think is a perfectly healthy, what is Damar Hamlin, like 23 years old or something like that, 23-year-old man. And it's not like it was a vicious hit or anything like that. He just kind of got up after the play and then collapsed on the ground. And then obviously after that, it was such a traumatizing situation for everyone involved, the fans, the players, the coaches, everybody, that they just couldn't continue the game. And I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on this situation in a minute and my thoughts on it, because I know there was a lot of reaction to this last night. But, it was such a unique situation, nothing we had ever really seen before in an NFL game, where they kind of had to decide, hey, are we going to play this game or not? And I think at one point the NFL was, planning on the game resuming. And I think it came to a point where the players and the coaches were saying, hey, look, our guys are not playing this game. We can't go out there and play. We're just not comfortable playing. And even if the NFL ultimately said go out there and play, I don't think there would have been any way for them to force those players to go back out there and play. And you can't blame them at all. Now, the part I really want to get to. Obviously, the game didn't get canceled until what? Like an hour after the injury had happened. And there was so much outrage last night on social media about, oh my God, it took the NFL, an hour to cancel the game or to postpone the game. Why did it take them so long? And look, last night was a very unique situation, and there's a lot of moving parts that come to postponing or canceling an NFL game. And it pisses me off that people nowadays are just so prone to knee-jerk reactions or just want instant gratification or instant action to be taken, that the NFL last night, again, it was a unique situation that had never happened before. They waited for information. They waited to gather the facts and determine the best approach after that. And that has become a controversy now. Like, I just hate where society is headed, and social media just kind of projects all of that. People are just looking for something to be angry about all the time. And last night, how the NFL handled that situation, that was something where a lot of people decided that they were going to take issue with that. And it didn't really make any sense to me, because it was something that we had never seen before. And the NFL simply was waiting to gather information before determining the best approach. And I don't understand what's wrong with that, or why people are so upset that the NFL decided to go that route. Like, what if Damar Hamlin had ended up being fine after a few minutes and said, hey, play ball. I want you guys to finish this game. I want my teammates to go out there and finish this game. Like, what if that happened? I thought the NFL handled last night just fine, and they're going to have a bigger challenge ahead when it comes to deciding what's going to happen with this game. When is it going to be played again? Is it going to be played again? And this is another part that I'm going to get into, and I'm also going to address another thing that people seem to be getting upset about stemming from that, which is, oh my God, Damar Hamlin, this thing just happened. His life is in danger, or he's fighting for his life, and you're worried about what's happening in the football game. Look, guys, you can do both. It doesn't have to be one way or the other. You can show concern for Damar Hamlin, but also ask a valid question of what's going to happen with this game. What implications does it have on my favorite team, the Kansas City Chiefs? Like, at some point, we're going to have to ask those questions. Life goes on. I feel awful for Damar Hamlin, and I hope he's okay, and I hope he heals up 100% and even plays football again if he decides that is what he wants to do. But eventually, the NFL is going to have to move forward from this. And if it upsets you hearing me say that, that's fine. Feel free to disagree. I know a lot of people got upset at Skip Bayless last night, and Skip Bayless made a very poor tweet. I can admit that. It was a poor tweet. It was a poorly worded tweet at an inappropriate time, but he was asking a very valid question. And I thought a lot of people overreacted to what Skip Bayless tweeted about. At the time of the Damar Hamlin injury, I'll read the tweet actually. Skip Bayless tweeted, "No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game. But how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant." And Skip Bayless got absolutely ratioed, and a bunch of NFL players, pro athletes, celebrities, scrutinized him for speaking about this at what seemed like a really inappropriate time. It wasn't an inappropriate time. I think he should have waited to say something like that. But that said, he did really tweet something that everyone was thinking about, and I think you're lying to yourself if you say you weren't thinking about, what are they going to do about this game? This was a really big game in the regular season. And that's all he was asking. He was asking a valid question. And he even showed concern for Damar Hamlin in the tweet and said, no doubt that the NFL is considering postponing this game, because that's a logical response. I think people are really overreacting to what Skip Bayless was saying, and this is just part of outrage culture and cancel culture, which, yes, I do believe exists. I don't think Skip Bayless should be canceled over this. I think he should apologize and move on. And if people want to cancel him, fine, go ahead. But I'm not a fan of dragging people down over one thing. And I do understand that Skip Bayless has said some other things in the past that maybe were a little bit insensitive. And you know what? That's on him. He can deal with that. But I'm not someone that dwells over, bad situations and lets it define people. I think Skip Bayless is a good dude that just said something that he shouldn't have said at a bad time. And it's whatever, but he did ask a valid question. As far as what actually is going to happen with this game, though, I have a couple different thoughts. I think there's something that I would do, and then there's something that the NFL will end up doing. If it was me, if I was Roger Goodell, I think this game should go on as normal at some point this week. Obviously, that's not happening anymore. They've already said that this game is not happening this week, which makes things a little bit more interesting, because are they going to try to time crunch here and fit this game in somewhere? Maybe push the playoffs back and get rid of the Pro Bowl to give this game another week to get finished? I don't know. Honestly, I think a very likely scenario is that this game ends up never being played, and they do call it a draw or a tie, or give it to the Bengals even, maybe. Well, I don't know. I think there's a couple strong possibilities here, including the tie. And if that happens, that would mean that the Chiefs would be the 1 seed, okay? And that might seem unfair, but I don't really think there's a fair way to address this situation. Like, I don't think there's an outcome to this that is totally fair to everyone involved. You can't plan for tragedy. And unfortunately, a tragedy happened last night, and that throws a wrench into things. But if the Chiefs were to get the 1 seed, I've seen some Chiefs fans, and I saw Matt Lane from KCSN tweet that if the Chiefs were to hypothetically get the 1 seed out of this, that they should forfeit the 1 seed. And I've seen the take from Chiefs fans, oh, they should give up the 1 seed out of respect and all this stuff. Look, if the Chiefs get the 1 seed out of this, and I don't know if this is going to happen or not, I think it could be, like I said, a strong possibility. But if they do, in no way should they forfeit the 1 seed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about what happened to Damar Hamlin. It's a terrible thing. Like I said, I hope he heals up. But I am not letting the Chiefs suffer, or I'm not letting the Chiefs make themselves suffer because of something that was out of their control. That's just, because if that's what we're going to do, well, then at this point, just hand the Lombardi to Buffalo out of pity for Damar Hamlin. I just don't agree with that. I think that would be ridiculous. I think that would be a ridiculous response from the Chiefs if they were somehow rewarded the 1 seed out of this. It wouldn't feel right. Look, we can be honest about that. It wouldn't feel right if they got the 1 seed out of this, but I don't think there's really a fair way to go about this. And if that is what it is, then so be it. Not much you can do. The NFL is kind of dealt a bad hand here because of what happened. The rest of this NFL season is definitely going to feel a little weird after what happened, at least initially. The next game that's played, the next snap that's played, whatever that is, I don't know. After something like that happens, I can't help but imagine that players are going to play a little bit timid because of what just happened. They're going to maybe not hit as hard as they typically would, or they're going to be a little bit more careful in the way that they play. It's definitely going to be strange. This is something that we've never seen happen before, and I think players are really shooken up by this, and they should be. We know football is a dangerous game, and we've seen some pretty bad things happen on a football field before, but nothing like this. That's different, and that messes with you. It really does suck what happened, and I hope Damar Hamlin is okay. It sounds like he's doing better. I saw a tweet earlier that he is down to 50% oxygen from the oxygen machine that he was on. Which means he needs less help, less oxygen now, which is good. That's a good sign. I hope he gets better. And this is a tough situation for everybody. That can't be overstated. And you have to be concerned about, what this means for the rest of the NFL, the implications that this is going to have on other teams and stuff like that. At some point we have to start answering these questions. The world doesn't stop. This season doesn't stop. It's not going to end. I've seen some ridiculous takes out there about, oh, we need to cancel the season. Guys, we're not canceling the season over this. This is a violent sport, and stuff like this has the potential to happen. Not even just in football, but in basketball, baseball, stuff like this has happened in baseball where people have taken a fastball to the chest and collapsed. Sports doesn't stop, and it sucks what happened to Damar Hamlin, but NFL football will continue. It's going to continue, and Week 18 is going to happen as planned. And I hate how people are going to take issue with me saying this, because I know there's probably going to be at least a couple, and this happens all over social media where people, it's like a contest to see who can feel the most sorry or who can be the best person by coming up with all this stuff, all these things we can do to honor Damar Hamlin, or make Twitter this massive shrine for Damar Hamlin where we're not allowed to talk about anything else because what happened was so tragic. And that's just ridiculous to me. You can feel sorry for the guy, hope he gets better, but also be concerned about how the NFL is going to continue after something like this happens. I don't know why it's such a controversy to say that, but yeah, those are my thoughts on the Damar Hamlin injury, this whole situation, what it means for the Chiefs, what it means for the rest of the league, and just my personal perspective. And, I felt like I had to make a video on this before making any other videos because, look, this is the biggest talking point in sports right now. This is a national story. I can't talk anything football or anything Chiefs related without bringing this up. So that's why I decided to make a video on it. So those are my thoughts. Would love to hear from you guys, though, especially on this topic, what your thoughts are. Do you agree, disagree with me on anything? I'm sure I'm going to have some disagreements, but, I'll politely engage. So that's all I got for this one, guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this, and make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com, and I will see you all in the next one. Go Chiefs!